All right, y'all. I am joined today by a very special guest. I'm super excited to have this guy on the channel because I know a lot of you are into NFTs, and I have yet to go down that rabbit hole. And this guy is an expert. So I would like to introduce the NFT archaeologist. What is going on, Adam? Thank you so much for being here, man.
Bro, it's a pleasure to talk with you today. I'm pumped for this, man.
Yeah, so you are really into NFTs, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I've gotten into NFTs, but like I've gone through the whole cycle. Like I'm a Wall Street guy originally. My brother trades options. I helped him build his YouTube channel around trading options. So I'm into trading. Traded a little crypto in my day, but NFTs are a whole nother ball game, man. And like I was saying to a friend of mine who hit me up last week, he's like, I'm waiting for my GameStop options to come in, and I'm like, and he's like hoping for a 2 or 3x on his investment. I'm like, bro, you are in the wrong business right now, man. You're spending, 8 hours a day trading stocks. You should be spending 8 hours a day trading NFTs because the market right now, that 3x is like puny, man. I'm talking like 3,000x. Like that's what you're looking at with NFTs. It's completely different, man. So I encourage people, if you're going to spend the time and dive into trading, I mean, this is like, for me, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've yet to go down that rabbit hole, but in my own Discord, as I was saying, I've got people in there talking about NFTs. My brother, he just got just the other day, he sent me an NFT he got that it went up thousands of dollars overnight.
Sure.
And I'm like, man, I'm over here trying to eke out a little 2% gain on Bitcoin.
Boo, dude.
And
No, there's no point, man. What's the point of doing that? If you're going
that's,
to
yeah,
spend all this time, like all this time, and I know traders, like, dude, it's all day, every day, 8, 10 hours a day, more, right?
yeah.
Trying to figure out charting all this crap. Dude, just get in some discords, find out which NFT is going to pop next, buy it and sell it. Like, this is it, man. I don't know. For me, I mean, it's not necessarily what I'm doing on a day to day basis, buying and selling NFTs. I'm really looking for historical NFTs because my view is more of like a 10 to 15-year timeline. So I'm trying to go back, find these historical NFTs that I think are going to be valuable long term and just buy and hold. So my strategy is a little bit different. But certainly for your audience who's just looking for the buy and flip, get in, get out same day or within a week or something like that, dude, NFTs are like, man, I mean, let me put it this way, very simply. I know people, a handful of people who started with 1,000 or 2,000 bucks in March of this year and have turned that into $5 million. There is
Amazing.
never, ever in the history of the world been an opportunity like that I've ever heard about. And it's still alive. NFTs are not dead just yet. So those kind of gains, man, I don't know. For your listeners, this is the time to maybe dive in a little bit into NFTs and see what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm excited to get into them. My brother's been trying to get me into them and some friends, but if somebody's completely new,
Mm-hmm.
to this world, I want to ask you this first before we get into more of the historic, archaeological NFTs. Is
Mm-hmm.
that what they are?
Sure. Historic. We could say historic.
Historic.
Archaeology is a little bit rough on the tongue.
It's a little bit rough, yeah, especially for someone of my caliber. But so if somebody's new to this NFT world, where would you point them to get started? Just some
There's
Discord
only one
groups?
place, and that's Twitter. There literally is only one place. It's very simple. There is no Instagram. There's no Facebook. There's no nothing, right? So it's Twitter alone. You can just get on there and start following a handful of people. Depends kind of what you're into, right? But you can start following. There's a really relatively small community on Twitter, subset of NFT Twitter, and start following there. And then you'll begin moving from there into Discord. And Discord is really kind of where it all happens, like the granular details about either new product launches or whatever. And you get in there and you can catch vibes for what kind of the community feels like. And the NFTs are this strange mix of, cryptos or stocks are based on, fundamentals to some degree. I know one guy used to call it pumpamentals, right? What are the pumpamentals, right? NFTs have this whole other layer of pumpamentals thrown on top of them, which is community and community driven, right? And so if you're trading cryptos and you're trading Bitcoin, for example, yeah, there's a Bitcoin community, but then again, you're just really just trading kind of this asset. Um, NFTs, You're trading the asset, which may be the NFT itself, an image of a ape or a punk or whatever it may be. But the underlying thing that holds the value is the community behind it.
Hmm.
So how does that community, what do you vibe with it? Do you feel like that community of people are going to hold this long term, or are people just looking to get out that day, right? If you get that feeling, I would stay away from it. But if you feel like these people are actually trying to build something here, then you might have something, and you might be able to turn that into some good gains.
Interesting, man. Yeah, I guess that makes a lot of sense, because at the end of the day, these things are going to be, part of the metaverse, and basically we're all going to be living in there. So,
In theory.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, who knows how this is going to roll, right?
Right.
I put it a lot like when people, because people ask me all the time, they say, what's it going to look like in 10 years? And I say, bro, this is what I know for certain, is I know nothing. Because in the same way that Web 2.0, if you went back in time to 1996 and asked the best minds in the world what Web 2.0 would look like, 0 people on the planet thought of this. Thought about me and you, different parts of the globe, having conversations where you have a YouTube channel, you have your own platforms, all this sort of stuff. Nobody on earth believed this was possible. And the reason is that all of it had to be built, and nobody could have envisioned that I could have in my pocket a complete studio that would have been an NBC, right? Nobody could have envisioned that. The technology, the infrastructure, none of that was built. It was impossible to even believe was possible. And so we're at the same point with Web3, right? So we're at the base level of it right now. And we're kind of just beginning to figure out what's going to happen in the future. And that's super exciting. And there's going to be a lot of losses along the way. There's going to be a lot of yahoos, a lot of stuff that fails, right? But along with it, there's going to be some massive, massive winners. And who knows what they're going to be. I'm excited for the ride.
Yeah, it's definitely an amazing opportunity. So you are very much so into these historic, archaic NFTs, right?
Right.
So explain those a little bit, and
Sure.
you know,
Yeah, what it is basically is this idea that NFTs and crypto are going to be so embedded in everybody's life on the planet a decade or 15 years from now that they'll look back on this time and earlier and say, wow, what were the steps that led us down this path? What were the important things that helped build this new future, right? And so the thing was, people were building NFT projects back in 2013, 14, 15, and 16, but they weren't necessarily called NFTs. NFTs are a relatively new term, but there were steps that were made along that timeline which were important to get us to where we are today. So my kind of purpose has been going back and trying to find these old projects, dig them up, and kind of relaunch them onto today's market. And so there aren't many of them. That's the real thing. There aren't many 2016 NFT projects on Ethereum. As of right now, there's one. It's called Pixel Map, right? So that one project that was done in 2016, my personal belief is that in a decade, people are going to go, wow, these guys were actually building NFT projects. These were like the first, a handful of firsts. And so they're going to hold those as valuable collectibles. That's my strategy going forward in a decade. I tell people, look, I could be completely wrong. People might think that it's garbage and nobody cares about it in a decade or 15 years. My belief is that they're going to hold tremendous value. And if they do, now is an amazing time to kind of get your hands on them, because you can get your hands on them for literal pennies, because there may be maybe 5,000 people in the world who even know what the heck I'm talking about.
That's really interesting. So basically you're looking at them as like collectibles that people would have, like a card album or something that's worth a lot of money.
That's right. So what is your Hornus Wagner baseball card from 1908 worth today, right? It's worth $5 million. What was it worth in 1908? A penny, or less than a penny. Nothing.
Yeah.
It was literally thrown away, right? So with that viewpoint, and knowing that we're having a quickening of how quickly everything comes about, so I'm not going to have to wait 100 years for this to be worth $5 million. If I think this is going to happen rapidly, like in the next 10 years, and I'm buying something for a couple $1,000s, then maybe has the potential to go to 200,000 or $1 million in 5 to 10 years. I think those, for me, those are those kind of exponential risk rewards that I'm willing to take.
Right. And so this is not necessarily, not even close to let's take $1,000 and by next year have 5 million. This is more like your long term, in 10, 15 years down the road, let's see what we got, right?
For me, that's the way I'm looking at it. But certainly within that, there have been these massive pumps, even within that, where myself and basically everybody I know in the space has been able to take profits. I do believe in taking profits. If I got a 500x gain, or I'm taking some profits. I may not sell all, but I am taking profits, just because I'm an old Wall Street guy, so that's the kind of way my brain works. Um, and so, there is that. But I have a lot of NFTs which I'm holding for the long term. Absolutely.
Cool, man. Are there any projects you would recommend people check out right now?
Well, I think probably the best way just to get an overview would be for people to check out my Twitter and then jump in the Discord. So I have a Discord. We have literally some of the best NFT archaeologists that I call myself, like, in the world. I think we have basically all of the best NFT archaeologists in the world in my Discord, along with a whole bunch of people who actually built these projects,
Hmm.
which is cool. Like, we have the original developers in our Discord chatting with us.
Wow.
So it's I think that's the easiest place, rather than just pointing people to projects. I mean, they're all out there, and you guys, if you're on Twitter and NFT Twitter, you've heard about them. You've heard about Rare Pepes or Spells of Genesis or all these ones, right? But there are lots of these kind of hidden ones, ones that almost nobody knows about, and ones that we're still discovering. I mean,
Hmm.
literally today, this morning, a guy hit me up and was like, "Hey, man, have you heard about these ones?" Well, I saw it on Twitter first, but then I started getting DMs. Have you heard about this one on the blockchain NXT? I didn't even know what the NXT blockchain is,
Hmm.
but some guy did an art project on NXT in 2014. It's
Hmm.
very interesting. And so we're diving in right now, trying to find the provenance of the project, how much these are worth. But you can literally, it's like 100. The guy basically minted an piece of art, and he sold 100,000 shares of it. You can buy the shares right now for like 15 cents each.
Hmm.
You know, is it worth $1,000 bet for me? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, will it be worth anything? I have no idea. It might be worth less than $1,000, but I'm willing to take that risk, because it may be worth a whole lot more.
Right. I mean, that's the way it is with any investment, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
The thing is that the thing I always point to is, look, if you look at the NFT space right now, there's 50 drops happening every day of new projects, every single day. All right. In one day, you're having as many drops as happened in all of 2017. Okay. And in an hour, you're having more than happened in all of 2016. Right. So they're not making any more of those projects back then. So for me, my thesis is that those will hold a special place, and you just can't make any more. And so that's our strategy. And I know that people in my Discord are kind of buying into this strategy, and we're early. We're very, very early. And who knows what's going to happen long term, but we're early. That's for sure.
That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I know I've been dropping the ball on this whole NFT thing, so I'm very happy to have this conversation and kind of get my mind thinking in that direction.
Yep.
Um,
I think what
so
you can do too, I mean, a lot of people are just buying. Look, I know a lot. Most of NFT Twitter is simply buying and selling new drops, new projects, right? And I own some too. I mean, it's not like I'm averse to new projects, and they're fun, and you can have crazy gains. I mean, right? We've all heard of the Bored Apes, right? Everybody knows that.
yeah,
You all know CryptoPunks. Everybody knows this, right? You could have bought a CryptoPunk last year for $500, or less, right? And so now you can't buy one for under, I don't know, $800,000,
yes,
right?
wild.
Same deal with the Bored Apes. You could have got a Bored Ape at mint in April for zero point 0.1 ETH, right?
It's insane, man.
It's insane, right? But to find those now, when you have 100 a day dropping, is it's really hard. I mean, it's as
Yeah,
hard as picking the next, altcoin winner. It's really, really difficult. Um,
that's why I feel like I missed the boat. You know?
Yeah, well, maybe you did, but maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't. I mean, look, I know guys who are still picking off, you know, because they're smart traders, who still and I'll just give you one strategy. one strategy, which I know people do every day, is they'll follow one or two important influencers on Twitter. And I call them influencers, but it could be an artist who just happens to buy and sell NFTs and has a Twitter presence where they'll then tweet about their purchases. And these people will simply watch that influencer's wallet and basically has it set up to get pinged anytime a new thing enters that person's wallet. And will simply go, and when they see a new project that artist just bought, immediately go and buy 3 of those. And that's their entire strategy. And I know for a fact that strategy, I'm not going to tell you which artist it is and whatever, but that strategy is making them, $2,000 a day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you, man, it's definitely very alluring because, any kind of investment, full-time investing is alluring, right? No boss, no clients. But I'll tell you, trading full-time, like I say, every year that I spend doing this takes 3 years off my life, man. Because it is stressful, man. So, I would love to diversify. I really want to go down this trail. And I feel like this conversation is the catalyst, which will launch me in that direction. So
it's all about, the way it is, man. It's about time and energy. Like anything, it's different. The thing is that it's very different in some ways, but in other ways, it's the exact same. What you see when you're trading crypto is you see basically emotions, right? You see like fear and you just see the emotions, right? I would say with NFTs, it's that, but accelerated at just like a crazy rate. Where like when I was trading stocks back in the old days, right? It was like, you're seeing it, but it's like in slow motion compared to NFTs. Like I've had an NFT like bear markets that last a day. Like, I mean, it's like, oh, world's over. And then the next day it completely moons, like the ups and downs that I've experienced in 8 months have been more than my entire life trading stocks, like easily, more like experience, like in a week of like ups and downs and highs and lows than I've gotten in 2 years of trading stocks, right? It's that quick and that fast. And this is the thing, much like when people were going off on, GameStop and kind of this like theory that as a community, we can move the market, man, that happens in NFTs all day, every day. I mean, it is literally, it's driven by a handful of people in the community. And so in some way, you actually have control over the price, right? If you believe in a project and you talk about that project, you educate people on that project, you're in theory pumping your own bags on that project, right? And so, I think in some ways it's almost like investors have control over their investments in ways that have never been possible before. So it's interesting also in that way. There's a lot of interesting things about trading NFTs right now.
Yeah, that is really interesting. And you trade them where do you even trade NFTs?
Sure. I mean, it's different because I'll put it this way. A lot of what I do is based not only on Ethereum, it's based on Bitcoin and other Namecoin and other blockchains. So it gets complicated.
Okay.
It gets complicated. But generally right now, people are buying and selling NFTs on OpenSea. That's generally where it takes place. But the actual like trading, you're not using like a trading platform like you might use a trading platform for your crypto. You're just looking at it as a marketplace, right? OpenSea is just the marketplace where you buy and sell. Your decisions on where to buy and sell are going to be made off of OpenSea, right? You're going to make those decisions either in a Discord or on Twitter, right?
Gotcha.
So that's kind of where your research tools in this case are Twitter and Discord.
Interesting.
You're probably going to buy and sell on OpenSea though.
Cool, man. So that's, it's a whole new world for me, and I'm excited to hop into this. So is there anything else you would like to share with people who maybe or any last words you want to share?
Well, I mean, again, just follow me on Twitter. I'm always available on Twitter. My DMs are open. So that's the best place to connect with me and begin going down this kind of rabbit hole. My tweets are basically all about historical NFTs. Once in a while, I'll throw in some stuff on just kind of the state of current NFTs. But if you're interested in the historical NFTs and you kind of buy into my trading thesis, just jump in our Discord too. That's the best place. Because often, like when I find a new project, the best kind of alpha, as they call it, will be in there where I'll release the project or talk about the project first in my Discord, allow my followers and people in my Discord kind of first crack at it
Awesome.
before I'll release it to the public on Twitter.
Cool, man. Well, I really appreciate you being on here, and everybody make sure to go follow Adam on Twitter. I know I will. I already do. And all right, y'all. Peace.
Thanks.